Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Sarnia police have laid an attempted murder charge after an altercation from this past weekend. They've also released video, which they say shows the moment the suspect ran over the victim multiple times. With more on the investigation, here's Jerry Dewan.
Sarnia police obtained video which they blurred showing a vehicle backing onto a grass median and hitting a 40-year-old man the driver had been arguing with.
We can see that after the victim is struck and run over, the vehicle stops and the accused then drives forward again over the victim and flees the area.
Sarnia police say the incident is part of an ongoing dispute between residents of this townhouse complex on Afton Drive just south of London Road. Jameson says the way the car moves indicates the driver's intent to strike the victim as he circled around the vehicle.
He went behind the vehicle and up on the lawn above the curb of that area as a verbal argument continued, at which point the vehicle can be seen moving and accelerating quickly for the amount of distance that was there with the apparent intent of striking the victim.
Police say just after midnight on Saturday, the same vehicle drove into the Co-op townhouse complex and struck an e-bike.
The same accused got out of their vehicle and approached the entrance with a pipe in his hand, being used as an apparent weapon. The victim in the case did not exit his residence and agreed to any type of confrontation that was being proposed.
21-year-old Hayden Leach Forte has since been arrested and faces a number of charges, including one count of attempted murder. Leach Forte has had a bail hearing and remains in custody.
In no instances is this type of retribution or this type of action against another person warranted.
The victim's injuries were described as serious but not life-threatening. In Sarnia, Jerry Dewan, CTV News.
3 months after CTV News revealed the Hamilton Road BIA had lost more than $100,000 to online scammers, city councillors discussed the fallout.
I don't think we just go, oh, well, 111,000 disappeared and they're making it up within their budget, and so we don't need to talk about it. I think that some answers are required as to where that money went and what was done about it.
Councillor Susan Stevenson pressed for a full accounting of what happened prior to giving her endorsement of the BIA's 2026 tax levy. Last summer, the executive director's banking credentials were stolen in a phishing scam and $125,000 was stolen. BIA officials have reported just $14,000 recovered so far and have said they're still considering how to seek damages against the bank, which they say should have flagged the late-night withdrawals.
We discovered there's a gray area in the Banking Act in terms of mirrored sites. People can gain access to accounts.
The executive director is no longer with us. She's been terminated. And what I'm proud of is our voluntary board has taken upon it to do the management of the BIA until this year, 2026.
A tie vote at City Hall almost derailed an affordable housing project's construction by the Cross-Cultural Learner Center. With more on the issue, here's Daryl Newcomb.
A dispute over 2 words in the Development Charges Act brought the Cross-Cultural Learner Center to City Hall, appealing a bill for a 24-story affordable housing project in the Old East Village.
We've never contemplated that the Doorway to Dreams project would not qualify for a full exemption.
CCLC appealed city staff's decision to only exempt $1.4 million in development charges for 75 affordable units and bill the agency $3.1 million in development charges on the market rent units. Staff argued the DC Act only permits full exemptions for nonprofit agencies whose, quote, primary objective is housing.
The primary or the main objective of the organization is why the development wasn't passed.
The agency argued that housing is a critical part of settlement services for newcomers to Canada, and 90% of its capital assets are housing.
I'm convinced that, given the discussion we've heard today, the primary objective for CCLC is housing.
A motion to support staff and dismiss CCLC's complaint divided councillors.
Motion fails 3-3.
That tie vote and the ambiguity it created for the project raised a lot of eyebrows in council chambers and may have prompted a couple council members to change their votes. A follow-up motion to approve the full exemption prompted several councillors to explain why their positions would be changing, despite concerns about setting a precedent for future disputes.
I view housing maybe more on permanency side. I think with settlement services, a lot of it's more on a more temporary basis.
Motion carries 6-0.
Mayor Josh Morgan will speak to the housing minister about clarifying the Development Charges Act by explaining what a nonprofit's primary objective is.
$3 million decision based on the interpretation of two words in the Act is not the greatest position to be in.
Council will make a final decision about the exemption January 20th. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
The last of the Kent Street Brewery buildings on Ann Street in London were demolished today. The demo job had already been approved by council, made more urgent by a pair of fires this weekend. With more, here's Brent Lale.
The facade of the former Kent Brewery came crashing down.
This building doesn't deserve this. It's one of the most historical sites in the city.
The leveling by excavator came after a pair of fires over the weekend. 4 engines and an aerial truck responded Sunday morning, just 2 days after crews were called there on Friday.
Under the circumstances of the building planned to be demolished, we did bring in our fire prevention investigator or their thoughts. There was no investigative value to continue to look at this.
Heritage advocate Anna Maria Velastro expressed disappointment when looking at what has become of the property. She fought for years to preserve the brewery and the former brewmaster's house, but council ultimately allowed York Developments to demolish the building with a promise to preserve some of the heritage in a new high-rise planned for the site. Sunday, CTV News witnessed a person stealing copper from the property.
If you're homeless and you need a warm place, like, can you blame them for breaking into an empty building? So the city really needs to protect the heritage buildings that are being left to rot. And but I feel really sad about the Kent Brewery because it really deserved to be protected.
This vacant building is now gone, but others remain around the city. Platoon Chief Gary Mossberger warns against entering any derelict properties.
You could have floorboards that are out, goes right down into the basement, railings that aren't no longer part of a staircase. So there's lots of hazards that could be there.
Before the historic building came down, Velastro got one last look.
It's sad and pathetic, and it shouldn't happen. This shouldn't happen.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
Provincial police say they've arrested 5 people through a robbery investigation in Middlesex Centre. According to OPP, officers were called to this business on Highbury Avenue North last night. They say the 5 suspects were arrested there. According to police, they're all from the Toronto area, each charged with robbery and mischief, with court appearances scheduled for next month. A father returned to the witness stand today, testifying about the days surrounding his young son's death after spending time at a home daycare. With more on his evidence, here's Nick Paparella.
It's the second week that Kent McClellan has spent on the stand testifying about the circumstances surrounding the death of his 15-month-old son, Nathaniel. After being rushed to hospital with a head injury in October of 2015, he said he wanted answers. I just wanted my son to survive. I prayed for my little boy. I wanted the police involved to find out what happened. Days later, the boy would be taken off of life support. Under cross-examination from the defense, McClellan said over time, with no arrests in the case, he wanted police to look closer at the accused, Megan Van Hoof. The court has heard the toddler was at her home daycare in Strathroy on the day in question. I just knew that something had happened with Megan. He thought it was intentional, saying, something happened with Megan Van Hoof for my son to be killed. He continued, I don't think she threw him down the stairs. I had a thought of Megan Van Hoof hurting Nathan. Police would investigate the incident for several years before eventually charging the 46-year-old Van Hoof with manslaughter. She has pled not guilty. McClellan later testified he always tried to keep the police investigation active, saying, "I wanted justice for my son. I wanted charges." He added, "The worst would be not knowing what happened to my little boy." The lengthy trial resumes this week. Nick Paparella, CTV News.
Residents in a neighborhood just outside St. Thomas say they're relieved after a home was put up for sale after a swastika appeared on its lawn. The property on Centennial Avenue is listed for $650,000. Neighbors had complained last September after a hate symbol was mowed into the front lawn, saying it had been there for at least a week. The couple who own the home face multiple charges, including inciting hatred.
It's great to see him gone and bring peace to the neighborhood because we don't need any of that kind. I know the last part of the Second World War came over as an immigrant, so we don't need any of that. That's just, I don't know, really hard to explain.
When you're dealing with individuals who may have a different thought process along those lines, the anxiety is more along the lines for my kids, my children, and just for the neighborhood in general. We always want good neighbors is what we're looking for, and hopefully that's what we continue to get.
St. Thomas's mayor held an event this weekend giving residents a chance for some FaceTime with their local elected leaders. Mayor Joe Preston says the significant projects for 2026 include creating more daycare spaces, improving transportation, and building housing while supporting marquee investments like the PowerCo Gigafactory.
I'm keeping the names of all the people that said, oh, that'll never happen, right? Because I'm sorry, as you start putting up concrete and steel, it's really happening.
When you take a look at London, it's growing. It's grown 40,000 people in the last few years. St. Thomas, exponential growth. We have to keep people moving and moving safely.
The provincial government has also renewed regional bus service until 2030 while investing in twinning Highway 3, supporting the developments at PowerCo and Vianode. The Prime Minister is heading to China this week, a mission he says is about rebuilding ties with one of the world's most powerful nations. With more, here's Abigail Beeman.
Expect progress on so-called irritants, say Canadian government sources, but not an elimination of tariffs. Canada has been hammered by tariffs on canola, pork and seafood, which China levied in response to Canadian duties on Chinese EVs. Government officials bill the trip as important in the long game as Canada tries to diversify trade.
Only less than 5% of our commodities trade goes to China. I think that's mostly about politics rather than substance. But the idea is to try and reestablish a good relationship with China. And
former Prime Minister Jean Chrétien was in Beijing last week. The Prime Minister's parliamentary secretary and Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs visited last month.
This has been a building block process. The trip in and of itself is an important stepping stone. I'm confident there will be outcomes and deliverables.
Cody Blois will be back for this trip. Carney also bringing 5 ministers and newly Liberal floor crosser Michael Ma.
There's so many challenges with China, and we have to be careful not to become strategically dependent. Pragmatic engagement is fine. Diplomatic amnesia would be a mistake.
Canadian officials concede there will always be areas Canada and China can work together on, and others we cannot. A coalition of human rights groups issued a letter to the Prime Minister ahead of the trip, urging Mark Carney to put human rights at the center of the relationship.
We haven't had a kind of a coordinated strategy in terms of dealing with China on the human rights, on the repression, and on the foreign interference. I think it's about time we express this.
The Prime Minister leaves for Beijing Tuesday. After China, he heads to Qatar for a bilateral visit focused on trade, followed by the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Still to come, a famous goal scorer and his hometown connection, why Paul Henderson is partnering with the Kincardine Hospital. Canada's main stock index drove further into record territory today on strength in the basic materials sector. The TSX gained 262 points. In New York, the Dow added 86, the Nasdaq up 63. The Canadian dollar gained 0.11 on commodity markets. Gold is up almost $114 an ounce. Oil added 38 cents a barrel. Iranian officials are cracking down on protesters 3 weeks into demonstrations. Human rights groups say more than 500 people have been killed while the regime in power blocks internet and cell phone access. With the latest, here's Mike Lecouture.
It's a daily struggle. With communications to Iran cut off, Iraj Avahani can't reach his siblings in the northeastern part of the country. Even more concerning, his nieces and nephews have gone missing.
You cannot imagine what's going on, and if the phone, they said, okay, he's dead or he's in the jail. We hope he's in the jail.
The hope is that his brother or sister won't have to visit a makeshift morgue to search for the body. U.S.-based rights group Hrana says it has verified the death of more than 500 protesters.
The repression the regime is using to quell the dissent, to basically stop people from standing up for their basic rights. The repression we're seeing is increasing every year, and I think we're at a breaking point.
Monday, state TV aired footage showing massive crowds at pro-government rallies right across the country. Iranian authorities are accusing both Israel and the U.S. of having a direct role in the political unrest. Iran's foreign minister says his country is ready for talks with the U.S., but is also fully prepared for war. Trump's spokesperson says he's ready to talk while keeping military options on the table.
What you're hearing publicly from the Iranian regime is quite differently from the messages the administration is receiving privately, and I think the president has an interest in exploring those messages.
Meanwhile, back in Ottawa, members of the Iranian-Canadian community can do little but send support.
And all they asking for freedom to choose to how to live, how to wear, what to eat, and what they do in their life.
Prime Minister Mark Carney has condemned the killing of protesters and urged Iran to allow for freedom of expression and peaceful assembly without fear of reprisal. Mike Lecouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Here in London, members of the local Iranian community are speaking out, calling for leaders around the world to intervene. Lauren Stallone reports.
It's been very hard.
4 days. That's how long activist Fiset Zardosht and many other Iranian Canadians have gone without speaking to loved ones back home.
I have my father who is living in Tehran.
The regime has shut down all of the communications throughout the whole country.
This comes amid ongoing large-scale anti-government protests in Iran that have left hundreds dead.
With the news that they were actually sometimes shooting the buildings, like people that are standing and just watching, and all of these, you can't be sure that they can't be like your family members.
This is very important for us at this point to be their voice and make sure the board can hear them and see them, so that the regime cannot continue this massacre in silence.
Zardosht says the past few days have been difficult, but she refuses to be silent.
I have to stand for my people. I have to be their voice because they don't have anybody else. I don't want their voice to be silenced, so I have to be strong.
Now she is calling on the United States to step in.
We are calling for President Trump to please help Iranian and help just to finish this brutality that the regime has been doing.
Well, U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened to intervene. It is unclear what that looks like or when it will happen. Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
Good evening. Chilly overnight. Wind chills close to about -8. Dreary start to your Tuesday. Thanks so much, Cynthia, for this photo of Bella and Jagger out enjoying the snowfall. Limited amounts of snowfall across our area. We have a coating, though, in the London region. And as we head areas further north, we still have some significant amounts of snowfall. We do have the chance for more snow in the extended forecast if you're a snow lover, but the risk of a rain-snow mix as we head into Tuesday afternoon. We'll start the day cloudy, temperature holding at -1 by 8 o'clock, and the winds picking up as we move through the day. I'll have your local weather details coming up right after this.
Welcome back on the desk with Julie Adgerson now, and starting off to what looks like a milder week, but with that kind of around the freezing mark can come some messy conditions.
Yeah, rain snow mix. So in terms of our temperatures over the next couple of days, we'll be hovering just above the freezing mark, so 2 to 3 degrees, and that will result in the potential for that rain snow mix. It's cold out there tonight, though. Overcast conditions and wind chills close to about -8. We do have some light drizzle continuing, and it could be freezing in parts of Midwestern Ontario, so just be aware of that. In London, the probability of flurries overnight, just a 30% chance. Daytime high close to where we should be for this time of year. So today was a typical January day. As we take a look at the satellite radar, we do have a weak disturbance moving through to the north, and that has brought some snowfall to the lee of Georgian Bay. We do have a wintry mix moving through parts of the prairies, and this will play a role in our extended forecast. So in the short term, just overcast conditions to start your day tomorrow. And then as the winds pick up out of the southwest, the temperatures start to come up. Overnight, anywhere from -2 in most areas to the freezing mark, but it's that wind chill. It's got a bit of a bite to it. Watch as we go out 48 hours. So there is the potential for some snowfall heading into tomorrow afternoon in through Grey and Bruce County, but also the risk for some mixing. So north of this, heavier amounts of snow in through North Bay and areas towards, well, northwestern Ontario. You can see that swath of snowfall. Now further south, we will see some mixing going on, but we could see about 2 to 4 centimeters fall in through Grey in Bruce County. And then there is the potential for some mixed precipitation in London as we head into tomorrow afternoon, early evening. It doesn't look like it will be a lot of moisture associated with this system, but enough just you'll need your windshield wipers on for sure, and a bit of a messy mix coming our way. Should be fairly short-lived as we head into tomorrow night, just overcast conditions. So it'll be that window in the afternoon, still the chance for some drizzle. Then Wednesday things shift, and then some cold air comes in from the Arctic. This is a lobe of Arctic air that will settle in for the weekend, and we will have some flurries associated with it and the potential for some snow squalls. So the next couple of days, daytime highs close to 2 to 3 degrees. Cloudy conditions and the risk of a rain snow mix in London heading into the afternoon. Winds getting a bit gusty. Forecast high in London 2 to 3 degrees. Then on Wednesday, daytime high 3 degrees, potential for a rain snow mix. So this 70% chance, this is just a brief window in the afternoon. This is not an all-day system coming in. It'll just be overcast through the day, that window in the afternoon, early evening, and then back to drizzle. Then on Wednesday, same story. It'll be the PM flurries. That'll be the evening flurries that will really kick up as the cold air starts to flood in. At -8, the high on Thursday with the risk of snow squalls. -4 for your Friday. Snow in the forecast on Saturday, and a colder weekend setting up at -7 with flurries. I know many of you like things to stay a little bit more consistent in the forecast, especially if you're an outdoor winter enthusiast. You like to get out and enjoy some skiing, boarding, even snowmobiling to some areas. So heading into this weekend, things look to level off just a bit. We've had some major swings in terms of icy conditions and then the rainfall. This weekend, things look to stabilize a bit, feeling a bit more typical for this time of year. So we have the rain snow mix coming towards Huron, Perth. Again, very light in nature, about 2 to 4 centimeters towards Grey and Bruce tomorrow. And then flurries and snow squalls develop Wednesday night into Thursday. And temperatures are set to drop off this weekend with that cold blast of air coming in Thursday. Carlyle, back to you.
Thank you, Julie. Hospital leaders in Kincardine have recruited the man who scored one of the most famous goals in Canadian hockey history, supporting their fundraising campaign. With more on their ultimate goal, here's Scott Miller.
I'm very convinced that without the Kincardine Hospital, I probably would be dead today.
The man who scored the most important goal in Canadian hockey history was born in the middle of a Bruce County snowstorm. 82 years later, the Bruce County native is giving back to the hospital that brought him into this world by becoming an honorary healthcare ambassador for the Kincardine Hospital's ambitious fundraising campaign that will modernize and nearly triple the size of the aging healthcare facility.
When this came up, it was just a great fit. And we're glad to be involved, I'll tell you that.
Kincardine's Hospital Foundation has raised nearly $13 million of their $18 million goal to upgrade and expand the community's emergency and imaging departments while adding Bruce County's first MRI machine. It's part of a $79 million hospital redevelopment that started in 2018. Hospital staff hope Henderson's name recognition and passion for his former home region will help push them past their lofty fundraising goal.
It's so important because Paul is local to our community. He holds our community dear, and that's important to us. And we are so grateful and thankful that the two of them have joined the campaign.
Another shot, right
Not only have Henderson and his wife Eleanor put their names and dollars behind the campaign, they'll be immortalized inside the hospital renovation with the Paul and Eleanor Henderson Quiet and Comfort Lounge.
Especially for people that are hurting. That's what we've thought. We'd really like to have a place that, when you got somebody in the hospital, you know whether they're going to live or not, and you could go into this room.
Henderson says he's ready to do whatever he can to get Kincardine over its $18 million fundraising goal. He says he visits back home religiously, and Bruce County still holds a special place in his and his wife's hearts, and always will.
When people ask me about it all the time, I'm quick to tell them where it came from. A lot of great memories.
In Bruce County, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Finally tonight, members of a local soccer league are turning goals into meals. They're donating thousands of dollars supporting student nutrition programs at a London school. With more, here's Rita Ismail.
I'd like to present this check.
A $2,500 donation aimed at making sure no child goes hungry during the school day. The Middlesex Masters Soccer League presented the check to St. Pius X Catholic School, supporting its lunch and snack program for students in need.
Well, it's a game changer. It allows us to top up a nutrition program that we already have in place, and we feed all of our students with it. So some students will come without snacks, and then others will come, and we're able to provide a little bit more nutritional value to their lunches.
The initiative was sparked by growing concerns around food insecurity in local schools, especially among younger students.
Schools seem to be suffering with proper, healthy, nutritious snacks for the students, especially at the formative years, which is something we really want to gear for, is regarding giving healthy food for the formative kids from JK all the way up to grade 5 and 6 type of thing, so that they have something healthy during the day.
The idea gained momentum with support from the school board, highlighting just how widespread the need has become.
This is crucial because all of our schools could benefit from this program, and we have students who are in need. And the biggest part is that if we could provide this for all of our schools, we would. Unfortunately, we can't. So this is why the sustainability, when we have partners in our community to continue this program, is very, very important.
The donation was voted on by league members as a way to give back to the community. Organizers say the goal is awareness and hope to encourage more partnerships to support school-based nutrition programs. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.